Hi, Danny.
Hi, Jasmin. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again. So, I'm glad you're back. It's good to see you. I know that we had a session last week. So, quick reminder, everything you and I talk about is is confidential. I don't let anyone know except for the 3 things that we discussed last week. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions about that?
I know.
Okay, cool. Good. So, tell me, how was your week?
So, this week was pretty stressful. I didn't make as much friends as I wanted to. It's just been kind of hard for me to, because you know how I told you last week I came because I've been having a hard time with the environment here and the culture, and so I've been trying to learn more about the people here. It's just been really hard for me to socialize with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm constantly thinking of wanting to go back home, and it's just, my adjustment here has just been really hard. So last week didn't go as well with people, I guess.
Yeah. No, that sounds hard. I feel like you're in a whole new environment. So it's going to be difficult, but you made it through the week.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you haven't talked to anyone new yet, made any connections yet, at least. It's the beginning, so I'm sure this is going to take time.
Yeah. It's only been like 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah,
So
definitely.
it's not, I haven't done much improvement. And so, plus it's a new school, and
Yeah.
coming from like a private little school and jumping all the way over here and going to public school, it's just a lot of things happening at the same time. And so it's just been really stressful.
Who is it that you keep in contact with the most, or who are you able to talk to through this stressful transition?
From back home? Well, yeah, because I don't have anyone here. Well, I have my mom here, but even though I tell her, I don't really go in depth about how it's going, because I know we moved here because she wanted a better life for me, and she wanted better things for me, and so I don't want to disappoint her. I don't want her to feel like her sacrifice was worth nothing because I'm like depressed, or I'm like so sad all the time.
Yeah.
So I kind of tell her, but it's like on the top. I don't really go in depth. So the person that I talk to the most would be my best friend from back home. I met her when I was 13, 14. Yeah, and so ever since then, 16 now, and I still talk to her. She's the only person that I keep in contact with, and I tell her about how the school is, because she was like wondering, because she's never been to California before, so, and how the school was in public high school, like what is that, and so yeah, I keep in contact with her. She's the only one that helps me like de-stress at times or vent. I vent out to her.
Yeah, well, that seems nice, having someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Is it hard not having her here?
Oh yeah, definitely, just because I feel like we connected on a lot, like so many levels, and so I also miss my brother a lot. My brother and I, we were really, really close. It's not like a brother and sister where they're like annoying to each other and they're just there. My brother and I, we were like best friends, and so him not being here, I think, has also been a factor in why I'm not as open to people, because my brother, he was always the open one. He was always the one that would help me find friends, and he was like the social butterfly. I've always been not a loner, but like more to myself, a little bit more insecure and shy when it comes to talking to people. So yeah, my brother, I think not having him here, I think that's why it has made me a little bit more insecure when it comes to talking to people. So
yeah, definitely. So he's at home?
Yeah, Puerto Rico. I've been here 2 weeks, and it's been a little hectic, sad. I've been really sad, but I made the choice to come here with my mom. I knew I wanted to come to college in the U.S., and so I made the decision. And even though I'm here, not that I regret it, but I just miss home so much, especially my family, because most of them are over there. Just have, like I said, my mom here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So is your brother and your mom and your dad your only immediate family? Is he your only sibling?
No. So I have my mom and my stepdad are the ones here with me, and then I have 2 half siblings, but I don't really consider them half siblings because I basically raised them along with my mom, so they're just my siblings. But they're from my stepdad. Same mom, just different dad.
Okay.
Yeah, Alice and Arthur are just way younger than I am.
Mm-hmm.
They're here as well because they came along with my mom, my stepdad, and I.
Mm-hmm.
Then my older brother, he just graduated high school, and so he decided he wanted to go to college over there.
Okay.
So he stayed with my dad, which is weird because our parents are divorced and we've never lived with my parent or my dad before. So I don't know how that's gonna go for him.
Right.
But I mean, we would see him like once, twice a month, but it was never like we've never lived with my dad. So yeah, they're there, and then my grandma. I'm really close to my grandma from my dad's side, as well to my mom's side, but she's in New York, so I don't see her as often.
Right.
But yeah, those are I have a lot of family that I don't know, because you know some families are big, and then you never get to meet your actual the rest of your family. So, but those are like my immediate family I would consider.
Okay. And how long have your parents been divorced, if I can ask?
They've been divorced ever since I was like 3 years old. Yeah,
Okay.
they got divorced when I was a baby. They were just had a lot of problems. So they were high school sweethearts, and they were together, separated for a little bit while, but then they got they married right after high school. Had my brother, had me, and just didn't work out as they planned. So yeah.
Okay. So, are you able to talk to your brother often?
Yeah, I talk to my brother often. Not as often as I would like to, just because he's in college now and he, has college homework. So, yeah, so I usually talk to him on the weekends compared to my friend. I keep in contact with her, almost every day.
Okay.
So, I do get to talk to him, just not every day.
Okay, well, that's cool. So you're here from Puerto Rico, and it's been 2 weeks. And how has that been for you at home? Is it a different environment? Is it just I can't understand being in a completely different country. That seems so amazing and scary at the same time.
It was really scary. Actually, I came here by myself because my parents came first. But I had braces. I used to have braces, and so the treatment wasn't done by the time my parents came. And so they left first to go find a house and find things while I was staying with my dad over the summer.
Okay.
And so what ended up happening was that I came to the U.S. literally a day or 2 days before school had started.
Wow.
The public school. Because I think they start earlier here than they do back home. So I didn't even know. If I wouldn't have gone online and checked when school started, my mom probably would have just whenever you're done, just come back. So I told her, and I'm we need to get these out now. School is almost starting. And so it's really different. We live in a really, really small apartment. Compared to back home, we had a house. I had my own room. I got to do, my own things. And here we definitely live in the city compared to over there where I had the beach really close, and that was such a big part of my life.
Sorry, if I had water, I would. Do you want some water?
I'm good. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Why don't you drink some of this?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the environment is kind of different. It's more of an urban area, and I take the train to school, which I had never done before.
Wow.
My mom used to take me to school, and I just think it's been a little bit difficult for me to adjust, just because how I said that I was kind of shy when it came to going out there. My mom has always pushed me to be independent, but I feel coming here really embodied what that meant. And so I take the train to school. It's not the safest area where we live, just because it's LA and my public high school is not the best.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what my parents could afford. They couldn't afford to put me in a private school like we had back home, because you were just like starting from nothing. And so, I wish we would live maybe in a more homey area, but we don't. We share. It's kind of like a shared building.
Oh, okay.
It's not like we have our own little apartment, but right next door. It's not. I don't know how to explain. It's not like an apartment building where there's like different apartments. It's kind of like the same one, like the same house, but we have our like little own.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's like a shared house that's apartments, but not a complex.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really small. There's only like us and 2 other families there. And so we only have 2 rooms, one where my parents and my siblings sleep, and then actually where my mom and my stepdad sleeps, and then me and my siblings are all in one room.
Okay.
Kitchen, living area, all in the same. It's not that big. So definitely a lot of change when it came to my home, just because we had more space over there, and we were closer to family. Here we literally have no one. So it's been hard. But,
okay. Yeah, that's a big change. Okay. And you're only 2 weeks into school, huh? Okay. How is that going?
Well, school-wise, I'm having a lot of trouble because back home we don't have like any like honor AP classes. But because I'm an honor student back home, as soon as I came here, automatically all my classes were honors. And I thought that would be the same thing, but when it comes to honors in AP, I know the load is a little bit more heavier. And so I didn't want to go straight into AP classes, and so all my classes that I'm taking are honors. And even though my English isn't bad, I feel like being in my English honors classes is definitely super challenging for me, because definitely a better speaker than a writer. And when you're in an honors class, it means you're a little bit above average, so it's just very difficult for me trying to stay afloat along with everyone else. And so also taking chemistry, honors chem, not the best. Having a really hard time in that class, and the teacher, I can't even understand what he's saying. He has a really strong accent. Not that I have a problem with accents, it's just like it's really hard to understand him, and he's just makes class so difficult. But I don't really have friends in my classes either. They're just like companions. They're just there. I kind of hang out with this girl at lunch, but I don't consider her my friend. I just hang out with her. Does that make sense? Just to not be by myself.
Yeah, an acquaintance.
The first week, though, I was completely by myself. I would hang out every day in the bathroom stall, eat my lunch in the bathroom. I wouldn't go anywhere because I was just so scared. Or if that, I would just go to the library and stay in the library the whole entire lunch.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been difficult for me. And I don't always see this girl every day, but when I don't, I just either choices, the bathroom or the library. So
that sounds hard. Well, it sounds like a scary situation. You're in a whole new place. You're in a whole new place, in a whole new country with a bunch of different people. So it sounds like it would be very stressful.
I think the only thing that keeps me afloat at the moment would be music. Back home, I used to be in a music school when I was over there, but here they don't have one, or at least I haven't found one close to where the school is. And so I know they have a guitar class, and compared to back home, I would go to a music school after school. Like it would be school and then music school from like 3 to 6.
Oh wow.
But they don't have that here, but they do have music classes. So my second period is actually a guitar class, and honestly that class is the only one that makes me want to go to school. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because other than that, not really. I'm also taking animation, which is pretty cool, but I'm not really a painter or artist when it comes to drawing things, so kind of suck, but you know.
Well, it sounds like what I'm hearing is that you find, or music is something that makes you really happy, and that kind of keeps you going day to day.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I aspire to grow as a musician later in life, maybe, you know, do my own thing. But yeah.
Is there anything else in your life that maybe keeps you going or gives you hope or makes you really happy?
Well, I am a Seventh-day Adventist, so even though I don't go to the church that I used to go back home or I had all my friends and stuff, but I definitely like the church that we're going. It's an all-American church, never been to one. It's so weird watching the sermons completely in English, but getting used to it. The people are super kind, super caring, and very welcoming when we got there. And so I definitely look to God for inspiration, motivation when I'm super frustrated or when I feel like I should cry or when I do cry or I just want to be alone in my room. Definitely pray and ask for strength because sometimes I'm so tired. I just want to go back, but I know this was out of a sacrifice, so I just try to like remember that all the time for me to go by. And I definitely find comfort in him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's great. I'm glad that you have that support or that community. Maybe right now it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
But maybe after time you'll feel more a part of it or more comfortable. If you're ever interested in wanting me to help you look for a church that you mentioned, it's weird seeing everything in English. If you want any help looking for one in your area that maybe has both a Spanish and an English service, I would be open to that if you are.
That'd be cool.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So, you don't know anyone at the church that you're currently at?
No, not really.
just thought I'd ask.
No. We've been there not too long, and so there's not a lot of youth.
Oh, okay.
But maybe later I would like it to be more youth just so I can have a community that I identify with. But for now, I'm not having a problem just because I'm getting to know the church, and so, yeah.
Okay, well, that's cool. How's your family doing with the transition?
My mom doesn't really talk about it much, and neither does my stepdad. But I know my mom was having a hard time just because it literally broke her heart having to put us in a public school. Like all of us, like when I mean all of us, my little siblings, because they were also back in like pre-K and kindergarten when they were back home, and so she's way more spiritual than I am, and that the part of having prayer and Jesus within our curriculum was very important for her. Now coming to this environment where like you can't even talk about religion, she's taken that a little bit not so well, but I think she's trying to make the best out of it, to try to reflect like a positive spirit for us to go on. I think my little brother and sister definitely having a little bit of trouble with English because the first language is Spanish, and so I mean everything back home was in Spanish except for the little English class where they learned like small words like cat and dog and stuff. But I think children have the capability of learning so much in so little time, so quick. So I think they're gonna adapt better or just as well, hopefully, as I will. And so they're definitely liking the school. They don't have friends because it's been a short time, so definitely hoping they can either connect with someone else that has English as their second language because they're both small. And I know there's a lot of Hispanics in the little public elementary that they go to, and so hopefully they can connect with that someone. And
yeah, definitely. Okay. And through this transition that you're going through, first of all, I think there's a huge time difference, right? Or not really?
It changes. So when the clock goes back, it's 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
But currently it's 3 because we're still in it's August.
Okay.
So currently it's 3. Once it gets to, I think it's November, November, October. Is it?
I don't remember. I don't know.
California is one of the like special
Yes.
states that switch their time, so I'm not entirely used to it yet. But I know it's at the end of the year they switch back, and so it becomes 4 hours.
Okay.
So it is a time difference, but it's not huge.
It's not too bad. Okay. So have you been able to like sleep, or even without the time difference? I'm thinking with everything that you're going through.
Well, yes and no. So at the very first week that I was here, I wasn't able to sleep because even though it's only like 3 hours, it's still 3 hours. Like 12 for me, it's 3 a.m. here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like going to bed, I would usually go to bed around 11 or 12 over there. Here it's like 2 or 3. So yeah, it's definitely been a little bit hard. I think I'm getting more adjusted to it now. But I think the times that I can't sleep is when I'm like really stressed about school.
Okay.
Because I feel like my English and chem class are really like challenging me, and so the fact thinking that I not only I have to deal with school, but then just socializing, it makes me really scared. And so I think about it in the morning, and even like when my parents drop me off in the morning, I would tell them like, drop me off over there, so a lot of people don't see that I'm coming in, or drop me off in the gas station that's in front of there, so I don't have to, because I'm just so scared, and I just want to like, I wish I could socialize as much as I want to. It's just, I'm just too scared yet.
Yeah. That's understandable. I think it takes a little time to get through such a huge transition like that. But I think that you're doing a great job, especially because you're here and you're able to talk to your mom, and you're still going to school every day, even as difficult as it is and as scary as it seems, you're still doing it. So I think that you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So you mentioned that your sleep, you're still getting used to it, but it sounds like you're going through a lot of stress. Are you able to eat, or how are you feeling?
When it comes to food, yeah, I can eat. I think I'm having a lot of trouble. I don't think I'm having trouble with eating. Definitely hungry. Lunch isn't the best at school. I think I'm just not used to it. I think the only things that I like about school is that they sell like, or part of the meals like this little like fruit shaved ice, and that's the only thing that I'm like look forward to when I eat lunch. But they have like weird sandwiches, and like a lot of their meat is just not, it doesn't seem appetizing. So at school I have a little bit more trouble eating than I do at home. At home because my mom cooks for me, so it's easier for me to
Okay. And you mentioned being scared. How else would you, or what are some other things that you would say you're feeling while going through this transition?
Besides stress and scared, I'm definitely super sad. There was like 2-3 days last week where I would just come home and cry for like half an hour, just because I just didn't want to be here. And so I'm just I don't feel like I'm at my best right now. I don't feel like I'm super energized or my usual self, just because everything that's going on. But I'm just really sad.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you have your music, and it sounds like your religion. It sounds like those two things are really what keeps you motivated. I'm glad you have those. Have you ever tried anything to like maybe make you happier or sleep better or just feel better?
Not really. Okay. I usually either pray before I go to bed at night, just to calm me down, and you never know if you're gonna die in your sleep. You got prayer.
Right.
Lord knows. So I always sleep before I pray. I pray before I go to bed, and so I think that's the only like routine that I do before going. And I usually fall asleep with my headphones on. My mom always tells me not to do that, but yeah.
Okay. And because I care about your well-being, I just want to ask, through this stressful transition, you mentioned that you've been feeling really sad sometimes and really down, which is completely understandable. Has it ever come to a point where maybe you've thought or felt that you didn't want to even go another day or anything like that, or not that serious?
I don't think to the point where I've told myself, don't want to be here anymore.
Okay.
Well, yes, but not literally, like not
The world,
not
maybe
the
the
world.
US.
This is not. I don't want to be in California. Definitely had days where I don't want to go to school. Just don't want to face another day of just anxiety and stressfulness. And I don't think I've ever had any thoughts of ever doing anything to myself. It's just I've just been really sad and depressed about the situation, but not to the point where I don't want to be here anymore. Right. I know that would make my family, especially my mom, really sad. And I feel like that saddens me more than just not being here.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. Okay. Well, I am glad that you're here again, and our time is almost up. So again, thank you for coming. I really look forward to seeing you next week. I'm really excited for you because it sounds like this is really hard for you, but that you're still pushing through and that you're doing a good job, but that you're also sad, but you have ways that kind of make you feel better, like your music and your religion. So I'm happy to hear that. Before we end today's session, just something that I wanted to go over really briefly. Have you had any, and I know you just got here, or maybe even at home, any like legal problems? That means like, maybe being arrested or your family being involved in anything like that? Just to ask so that I know and can keep in mind.
Well, no. I've never been arrested before. I always have a fear though, just because it's a public university and a lot of things happen and you see a lot of things, and so I'm not with the wrong crowd or anything, but there hasn't been any problem. I'm just exposed to a lot of things where I wasn't back home.
Right.
So
yeah, definitely.
But no.
Okay. Okay, cool. And you guys, because your family has recently gone here, I know you guys aren't U.S. citizens, but are you guys connected? Or have you guys talked to someone? Are you guys aware of how the process works and everything?
We actually are U.S. citizens.
Oh my God, Puerto Rico is
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Thank you for educating me. Sometimes.
No problem. No, it's weird. No, I get it. It's a super common question that people ask just because we're literally not a state.
Right.
But because after the Spanish-American War, the U.S. took over Puerto Rico, and even though we still speak Spanish, we're a commonwealth, so all of our laws, all of our welfare, everything goes by the U.S. government. And because of that, we're granted citizenship as soon as we're born, even though we're on the island.
Okay.
So
thank you. That's lack of knowledge on my part. I forget when it comes to Spanish countries and how it works, but thank you. Okay, well then that's great. Something you don't even have to worry about. Okay, Dani, well, it was really great seeing you. Hopefully I will get to see you next week.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.